You're the grandmaster of RP. You out of all people should be able to define what a high value.
He's a nerd. He's not the grandmaster. He's none of that shit. He's LARPing on the internet like he's some fucking sage and I just know women. And this dude knows nothing about women. He doesn't really know much about anything. All he does is read data points, and that's all he does. He's a stat nerd. Yo, what's happening, YouTube? It's your boy Bolo, and I'm coming to you with another video for educational purposes only. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm liking the direction that a lot of these manosphere, red pill guys are going. There's finally the pushback. People are finally starting to wake up, getting that red pill fatigue. They're going out living life and realizing that a lot of these fucking nerds that you've been listening to aren't 100% correct. Now, like I said a million times, a lot of the information they do present is right. I'm not sitting here to say that they're wrong. I'm not blue-pilled. I've had always a problem with, one, how they bring out the information, and two, they don't really give you any avenues on how to handle it. They basically instill a lot of rage, hatred, a feeling of hopelessness and giving up, doom and gloom, and I'm not about that. I feel as a man, I feel like we are the leaders of our communities, our families, of our countries, or whatever. And when I say that, I actually mean it. Not like them where, oh, we should lead everything, but the woman ruins us. I feel like if you've been ruined by a woman, it's because you were being weak at that moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't let it keep happening, as long as you realize what happened to you, what you allowed to happen to you, and you fix it. You see this guy on the right, Rollo, he's very mad and angry. He still has all that rage, and he's been trying to pass it on to the future male generations. And that's my problem with him. Now we're going to go through the discussion with Sneako, who seems to go from one side of the extreme to the other. I don't find him to be the most intelligent person, but I appreciate the fact that he is willing to push back. He seems like more of a guy, he gets a hold with an idea that sounds good, he gets really emotionally attached to it, and he rides it to the death. And you need people like that, you know, in the world. Not everyone's going to be the most thoughtful and the person that's the most introspective and really thinks about things. Sometimes you need just some soldiers, and he's a good soldier. Let's go through the video though.
Men, and there aren't high value women. Okay, it just depends on who we're talking about.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about, bro.
In the context,
I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
I get what he's saying, but
I feel like I need to do mushrooms before I come on this show. That's what it feels like, the kind of conversation I'm having right now.
No, you know what it is, Destiny, is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's why.
On any of this, and I'm surprised because you write about this all the time. You wrote a whole book about it. People they really respect it. And I have no idea.
You guys might be confused because I'm the one that says there's no such thing as a high value woman. A woman that's a woman gets her value directly from a man that she gets in a relationship with.
I haven't seen this whole thing, but I would say there's a high value woman. They just don't have the same qualities as what a high value man would be. Because if you are a guy with a high value, you have to differentiate between low value and high value women to decide on who's going to be raising your children. Okay? Why are you going to shame whores or, you know, OnlyFans models and say the girls that don't do that are better picks, which would imply they are of higher value? So he's not being honest here, or he's just stupid. I don't know which one it is, but he's wrong. There are definitely different tiers of women. Some are higher value than others. I mean, I don't know why that's even a point of contention, to be honest.
Because all women have value, but not all men have value.
All women don't have the same value.
Bingo. So this fucking cuck over here actually said something smart. Not everyone has the same value. Just like how he said, not every man has value. Yeah, every guy has value. Just some have a lot less. That's all.
Well,
don't even think about it. You know that's not true. If I give you a woman with 100 bodies and a woman with 0 bodies, if I give you one that's 500 pounds, if I give you one with 5 kids, so
here's
yeah.
my thing. Okay, here's my thing, because I've said this before.
I know men must become and women are. I know you're about to do this speech.
No,
but I'm just saying, some women.
My man said that. Okay, and that goes back to another video. Like I said, once you've seen these motherfuckers 2-3 times, You've heard it all. So if you out here and they know you by name, hey James, thanks for another $50 super chat, you've got a fucking problem. Okay? This guy fucking knows what he's gonna say before he says it. So all you like little disciples, go outside and live your lives.
That are better than others.
I wasn't gonna
right?
say that. Of course, yeah, of course. But all women have value to some level, but not all men have value because men have to build their shit up. So what I'm saying is that a high value woman
that's not even true.
A high value woman gets her value from being with a high value man.
I don't even think that's true.
Because
All men have value to some extent.
The metric of success for a female is being able to get the best man that they can get.
But it's vice versa. The best man she can get is only made available to her when she is of that level and that guy has, you know, the power of discernment and can see who's who. So for her to be picked out of the crowd, she also have to be of high value. Like attracts like most times. Okay? If you're a piece of shit, chances are you're gonna attract a piece of shit. Okay? If you keep getting in these relationships with these whores, it's because you probably got some problems. Okay? Once or twice, okay, whatever, maybe you just made a mistake. But when it keeps happening, you gotta look yourself in the mirror.
Can build and do things. In places like China where you're limited to the amount of children, what do? They opt for boys because they could go out and work and fucking get jobs and shit and do things around the fucking house or whatever, right?
Yeah, in the fucking 1980s.
Doesn't take away from the point that boys were more valued in that society. So you can try and say back in 1980, but the fact of the matter is that they said, we prefer having the boys. That's the point, and it's a correct one.
The one child policy hasn't been around since the mid 90s, dude.
Sure, but when it was grossly favoring the birth of boys because you could do more with boys than you could with women. Just the idea that like
at least that was a prescription until they and now they're facing the consequences of that.
Well, so is Japan. That's a super homogenous.
That's
blah,
one
blah, blah,
situation. Okay, you're using China, but let's be honest here. Why does it say women and children off the boat first, and not men? Women have always had. No, yeah, it's a chivalry thing, but why is that? Because if you have 100 women and one guy, you can still continue society. But if you have 100 men and one woman, we're fucked.
Women are the vulnerable sex, and men are the disposable sex. That's why.
This fucking nerd just lives by his little sayings, his little slogans. Now, what they're saying is right. Women inherently have more value. But to say that there is no high value woman or whatever, they're kind of moving the goalpost. They're actually shifting the conversation away from that because I think they know that they're wrong. So now they're going to, but women have inherent value. That wasn't the argument. It was, is there a high value versus low value, which there is. And they admitted it, but now they're trying to move the goalpost and change the subject. And a lot of their viewers, which might be some of you that watch this, are so attached to these characters on your computer screen that you're not even realizing that they're changing the whole conversation so they look right in front of you.
Women have value inherently. So what I'm saying is this: since every woman has value, for a woman to be high value, she's got to be able to lock down a high value guy. There's a reason why women take a man's last name and not the other way around. Women, when they meet each other and hug, the first thing they ask typically is, "Oh, do you have a man? Do you have a relationship? Tell me about your kids, etc." When two men meet, what do? Shake hands. What do you do for a living? Men are judged on creating value. Women are judged on creating children, typically. Now,
typically, I would agree.
Are there some women out there that chase success and making money, whatever? Sure, but that is not the main goal of a female. The main goal of a female from a biological sense is to procreate. For a woman to procreate, she's got to be with a man. Typically, they want the best guy. For a man to procreate, he's got to create excess resources to be able to attract that woman. So what we bring to the table is different. And what I would
exactly, and you are trying to say because a high value woman doesn't bring the same as a high value man that she is not considered high value, which she is, because a high value man is not going to pick a low value woman. Myron considers himself high value. Would he wife an OnlyFans model? No. Why? Because she is of low value. He would much rather take a girl that is going to dress modest, without the social media, has good morals, good moral compass, that can raise his kids with that same mindset, because she is of higher value in a woman's in the woman paradigm. Okay, so he is changing the subject again.
disagree with any of that, but
Yeah,
there are high
okay.
value women, and there probably are high value men.
I think a woman's only high value if she could lock down a high value guy. That's my take.
Okay, well, at least you have a definition.
That's
for it,
my
at least.
that's my definition on it. Which again, I see all of us here at the table have different opinions, which is great. But that's my take on it. Like with a high value man, a high value woman.
No. I mean, what you want me to say is a woman who has a low body count, who is, a girl from the Amish Dutch country in Pennsylvania, who's never, known another man, doesn't have any social media. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can go with this, but again, it's those are ideals. Okay.
Yeah,
The
but
other part
ideals
is,
are important because ideals are what we strive for. An ideal is the whole.
They're also-
Good
those-
point. Even if you don't feel an ideal is attainable, it's still something you strive for. So, Destiny's right.
ideals are also what lead us astray, which is why this list is fucking useful. That's
Ideals
why.
don't lead us astray. Ideals lead you into a better life. That's the whole point of an ideal. It's the best version of yourself. You're never going to be the best version of yourself, but the path to being the best version of yourself.
Every guy who ever thought he found his fucking soulmate, who ended up on the opposite side of the fucking divorce table from her, had a fucking ideal about that woman.
Sure, and every man that dies happily surrounded by his family who had a
Oh
long.
yes, I know the pastoral scene with everybody. Well, yeah, we're surrounded by his family. You know what? You know that like 90% of the population of the United States doesn't die like that.
Yeah, Rollo's pretty much right on that, but most people right now are such worker bees where mom or dad, a lot of older people are not dying surrounded by family. It has very little to do with divorces or anything like that. It's just unfortunately how the world is working right now. You are working to the bone. Everything's about meetings. Family is a lot less prioritized. Okay? So that's mainly what that's about.
They actually die in assisted living, and nobody
Unfortunately.
knows about it until the next morning.
Unfortunately.
Okay, as opposed to you who was tweeting about dying in his motorbike in an accident. Okay, dude.
You said you
All
wanted
right.
to blast
Fucking-
metal
that is a fucking
in your car and
fantasy.
play Slayer.
Radcon fantasy.
Yeah, like,
Guys,
come on.
let me hit these chats real fast.
And we got another show coming
Yeah,
up.
and we got another show coming up. I'm gonna go through this real fast. All right, so we got Kid Blue RB goes, Rollo dodging the defining a high value man is like the LGBT dodging what a woman is. Feels like I'm watching Matt Walsh documentary right now. You're the grandmaster of RP. You out of all people should be able to define what a high value
He's a nerd. He's not the grandmaster. He's none of that shit. He's LARPing on the internet like he's some fucking sage and I just know women. And this dude knows nothing about women. He doesn't really know much about anything. All he does is read data points, and that's all he does. He's a stat nerd. Okay? He's like the GM, like Daryl Morey, the GM of who wants to fill his team with a bunch of 3-pointers because the data says. But then it's the team that don't do that win the championships. So that's him. That's him right there.
Define high value male, but he could define us as douche nozzles.
All right, let me.
That's pretty funny though.
Microsuit says, Myron, you're my guy, but you're giving Rollo an out. Let him stand on the chair he's standing on so he can continue hanging himself with his food.
I know you really want to defend him because
Well, here's the thing.
I know you base a lot of the show around that book, but like, bro, he's making absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. Everyone is interpreting it different. Obviously, I have my take on it. Rollo has his take.
He doesn't
Chris has
have a
his
take, bro.
We all have different takes on
He
this.
doesn't have a take.
That's still a take.
That's still a take though.
That's still a take.
Okay.
That's pathetic. These two are his disciples, and that's pretty pathetic. Now, like I've said in the past, Myron has charisma. He's a decent-looking dude, in good shape, articulate. So I can see why he's gotten his internet stardom. I can see it. But you have to look through it at times. You know, a lot of these cults of personalities, they get people wrapped up, and you can't see the forest from the trees. But this guy is a fraud, and he's defending the biggest fraud, the Grandmaster. He's defending this guy. He just said he can't. He sees right now he cannot defend his own ideas, and he's still defending him.
If this was some LGBT shit or some woman shit, we would be all laughing and roasting the fight. Rightfully so.
Yes.
If a woman came out and we were like, what makes a woman high value? And she's like, well, if she's in her moment and if she's girl bossing it up as hard as she can, that's a high value woman. Like, we would be roasting.
That's the
fuck.
same
1000%
argument he's making right now.
Not what I'm saying. That's not it's fucking apples and oranges. That's the problem with all this shit. Is like you don't even fucking understand the nature of the tweet. That's why. But,
I'm asking you.
Then explain it, dude. Like, this guy is getting so frazzled. This is the guy that wants to talk about masculine frame, and the man, and the alphas, and the betas. This dude's a fucking clown, bro.
question, you can't answer it. Ask if it's advice. It's not. It's a joke. It's not.
The
What's
minute, okay,
happening, I don't
because the
know.
minute, because the minute, okay, here's the thing. Here's a high value. Let me give you a high value man. A high value man goes and fucks as many chicks as he possibly can, as many women as possible, and he fucking finds one little needle in the haystack, and he wipes up that girl because she happens to have no body count. She's like 100% in love with him, and I can go and rattle off all these extremes, and you know who's going to disagree with me? Every fucking guy in fucking Daily Wire is going to disagree.
Say what you really think. Don't say it ironically. Say what you believe.
What I'm saying is what I believe here, okay? This is the whole thing. It's the point of the fucking tweet is that it's your fucking definition of what it is.
You keep saying
So, Mr. Science, Mr. Analytical, now it's all about your interpretation, this pseudo-intellectual, like, terminology. Oh, it's your... Why would you write a book defining something and then say it's up to your interpretation? That doesn't even make sense.
Ben Shapiro, you said Ben Shapiro's not a high value man. So you must be comparing him to some standard in your head. You said Bezos is not a high value man. You said Elon Musk is not a high value man. So there's some standard in your head that you're comparing these guys to that they're not matching up to. What is that standard?
Right. Well, let's all you would have to do is look at their personal lives so you would understand this. Again, do I have time to go and enumerate all that? No, I don't. But if you go and you look at what they're doing, like look, let's just use Elon Musk for a second here.
Yeah, let's use Ben Shapiro. That was a good example. Ben Shapiro.
We can look at Ben Shapiro. How did he meet his wife? Do you know how he met his wife?
What did they
It
grow
was
up?
arranged, right?
Was it an arranged or family friends? I don't know.
No, basically what Ben Shapiro did was he wore this chick down over the course of God knows like 3 or 4 months, right? He would meet the definition of stalking and being a creeper on the if he wasn't Ben Shapiro, right? If he didn't have his background in who he was.
3 to 4 months. What does that mean?
Basically,
What it means is he wore her down is what he did. He's very proud of that fact too.
Okay, hold on real quick. You seem to have a problem with this. When somebody asks you what is X, and then you go, well, it's X, you're not really answering the question. You've done this like 3 times. When you say wore her down over 3 to 4 months, what does that mean? Did they date? Did he see her after school?
What that means is he was persistent. He just kept wearing her down over the course of time.
Bro, that's ridiculous, man.
That is ridiculous. If that was the case, every guy would get the girl that they wanted because asking a bunch of times would eventually get them to marry you. That doesn't even make sense.
I will send you the video.
Well, there you go. Rollo's a clown. I've been saying this for a long time. As others, you don't have to be some kind of oracle to see that shit. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are that now that Rollo, on a grander scale, is being exposed as the nerd and loser that he is. It's beautiful to watch. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'm out. Peace.